And welcome back to chapter 5, lecture number 48. So we ended up with these strands from the reed and we made them look a little bit curvy. What we will do in this lecture is focusing on the reed itself. So let's do some organization. I want to have these images on top so they're not distracting. And let's make these a little bit smaller. Control A, rotation and scale so it fits. And let's go to the solid mode, add mesh UV sphere. No, cylinder. And make vertices. Let's go for a value of 5. Yes. And then we drag this to the bottom. I mean, this is just a reference image from Pixabay. We're going to do it slightly different, so we're not making these big leaves. We have very twisted shape. Just making our own variation. Just to keep it doable. But of course, it's if you have plans, turn off proportional editing. Oh, it was turned off. Go to the wireframe so we have more control. All right, I want to push this part a bit backwards so it starts right there. It's a very thick root, so maybe we have to thicken it a little bit more. All right, so there we go, and we extrude it. And again, and the more I extrude this, the smaller I make these ends, just slightly. And one more, and smaller. Alright, that one can be a little bit smaller. And solid mode. Do not really like this transition. Move this a little bit to the right. And this should be good. Yeah, so next thing that I like to do is unwrap it. It's hard to unwrap, so let's add some edge lines. So I alt left click on one of the lines, Control E, and go for edge. No, Control Z, alt left mouse, Control E, mark seam. Alt left mouse click, Control E, mark seam. Now we have cutting lines and we select all of it and we go for an unwrap. And look at that. It's exactly what we want. The next thing we do is we left click on our stem and shift left click on the leaf, Control L, and we want to copy the material. Let's take a look. It's reed leaves, but we can use it for the stem as well. So I like to select the bottom part, do this in wireframe, and we select it. And we move this. So I want to start in the brown area. So like it looks a little bit like it's in the water. That's good. And then we select the next part. And we move this to the green part. And continue doing this. And there you go. So you maybe think it doesn't really representation, the reed look like the stem, but you won't see it. You will just see the reed from a distance, and if you spend a lot of time on these sort of details, you won't see it in the end result. So be aware of that. You just want to have some coloring. So now we're going to the material preview. I mean, there's a very nice root right there. Maybe we want to just improve this a little bit. So we go to the material preview. We have to twist it. And now, yeah, it looks better. Let's end this in the green. Somewhere like that. Pretty good. So we continue. We're just checking how much time we have left, and I like to start with the leaf, with the brown leaf, and that one is for the root. So one over there. We need to drag this one so it's hitting the strand. I'm just turning it around and I'm moving this, and we duplicate that one and twist it and just rotate it a little bit. If I'm going too fast, just rewind this video and what I'm actually doing is I copy objects, I'm rotating it, and I'm switching, pushing the scroll button on my mouse, and I'm just turning it around to have a good view. It's pretty much what I'm doing. So don't want to scare you with all the actions I'm making, but I have to speed up every time a little bit, so we finally can make the amazing castle scene. But first, we need to focus on some nature assets in the next chapter. So I'm learning you how to create these types of plants and trees and grass. Then we will make a whole set of vegetation. So we can make the grass look very rich with details. I have to rotate this one a little bit. It's pretty complex. So we keep doing this together because I want to show you how this works. For some parts, I can imagine you can do it yourself, but for this, it needs some time, so we can, speed it up a little bit. So there we go, and that one a bit smaller as well. And this is the part where we're going to slowly speed up, and we grab the next one from the bottom. We're going to duplicate these, make it smaller, but not too small. Oh, let's make it taller. This be a bit for most of them. I think it's a great thing to just make them larger. If I compare this with the background, I think it's won't be a bad thing to do. So, and we just duplicate. We continue. Each time I duplicate, I put a little bit above the previous one. That should look nice and well. All right, and the next one, Shift D. And I won't use the brown strands anymore. These looks good for the routing, but not for the these ones going to be a little bit smaller now. And that one, we're almost there. And we'll just rotate it to the other side, and more upwards. No, a little bit more bigger. And one more. Let's use that one. Maybe going to twist these a little bit. Oh, that's one. It's very, very large. Let's compare these. Yeah, that's no problem to have these. So let's take a look on top. That looks good. So I like to do some twisting just to add randomness in it. Press O, R, press just a little bit of twisting. Just for some of these. And one more. It's just small changes I like to do. All right, I think this looks nice. Let's hide the background because we just want to have a reference. Let's left click on this image. Move this object, because it's an object, it's not just an image. Make it smaller. Control A, rotation and scale. And I think I'm going to change this image a little bit, because I think it will fit better if we just use the whole image. Yes, it's just a very small adjustment, so it won't hurt your work, I promise you. Alright, that looks good to me. A little bit wider, control A, rotation and scale. Needs to like you need to blend this on the top of the stem. So something like this will do. All right, it needs to be smaller. You think, just show me how that works. Well, this is how it works. Good. So we have the stem. We have the leaves, and we have the sort of a flower, just a little bit bigger. Just fine tuning, and just turn it around. If there are objects you just want to rotate a little bit, that's hard. All right, just have it. All right, so this is the end of this lecture. In the next one, we will make some duplications. We're going to join all the objects together and call this read 1 and read 2, 3, and 4, and then we are finished. All right, see you in the next lecture. Bye-bye.